Obviously, a very disappointing end, the way it ended today. 4 plays in the first half really turned the difference in the game. You can't give up. You can't get beat that bad in man coverage. And the only chance we had to, well, there's 2 philosophies. The chance we had to win the game was to keep the score close, play man coverage, and they wouldn't be able to do anything else. And obviously they couldn't do anything else, but we couldn't cover them. And so when you give up 4 touchdowns for almost 200 yards, the game's pretty much over when we have our struggles on offense. So that was very disappointing because I thought we had a good plan. I thought we would cover them better. We got beat on the first one, the fade route up top. The guy beat us at the line of scrimmage. Dante falls down and dislocates his wrist, and they had to take him to the hospital to get that thing fixed immediately. And then we have a double move for our free safety should intercept the ball, and true freshman who's probably played way too much, and he's going to be a great player, makes a mistake and doesn't make the play. And then another mistake by a true freshman in cloud coverage. You should never let anybody get behind you, and we gave up scissors for a touchdown, and the game's over. The fight, I admire the fight that they have. They came out at 28-0 and we tried to compete. Now I think it's the first time all year, and it's because of Blake. He's a good guy, he's a good friend of mine and a good coach. They did not try and continue to run a score up on us and try to score points and get yards and do all those things. They were very kind in the fourth quarter and took it easy. So the 10-7 score in the second half is because Blake was being a good guy. We made a couple more plays, but I think it's the first time all year that the opponent has not tried to run the score up, but tried to score more points. And I don't mean that. I'm not calling any of the other coaches saying that they're bad. I mean, they were out there with their best guys trying to score and compete, and I got no problem with that. And I think Blake was genuine, was nice today. The 20 seniors that we celebrated today, I'm really proud of those guys. You got a football coach that comes in here and says it's a 4 to 5 year plan, that we're not very good, that we need better players. That's the message, and it is the message, and I've not wavered from it. And I'm just as black as white with them. And sometimes I hurt their feelings and offend them, and rightfully so. Because when you got a head coach coming in here that basically is saying you're not good enough, which is people, they're great people. We're not good enough to athletes and football players to win championships and compete championships. Despite all that, those guys have tried their tails off to implement the foundation for this program. And that's not an easy thing to do. They haven't had a lot of success around here, that group. 2-10, 2-10, 3-9, 2-5, now 3-9. Obviously, they haven't had a lot of success, but they persevered through everything, that I said, all the hardships that they've had here as a program, and they've done a great job setting a foundation for our beliefs, our character, who we are as a football team, how hard they play, how tough we are. And so I'm grateful to that group of 20 seniors, because they're really good guys and they try really, really hard. We're not talented enough. We've got some young talent coming behind them, but we need more. But they gave their all for this program, and I can't be more proud of them. There's bright signs like obviously I held out Luke Wysong today, a true freshman who's played way too many snaps. Could have played today, but he's beat up, and we need Luke Wysong for the future. He needs to get bigger and stronger. We've got a bunch of them that need to get bigger and stronger. We've got 7 true freshmen on the punt return team, and the punt return team is 8th in the country. We've got 6 true freshmen on the kickoff return team, and the kickoff return team is 15th in the country. Statistically, we gave up 444 yards today, so we'll drop a little bit, but we should end up in the top 50 in defense, what hadn't been done here since 2008. Obviously, our struggle offensively is without question has to be addressed. Today, it made it even harder because we were without a bunch of our really good players for injury or otherwise. Prayers to Rats and Jang, and I want to thank Coach Anderson. I talk about it all the time. I am big in my faith. And the young man was laying there with his ankle 180 degrees the other way. And Coach Anderson came over and knelt down and prayed over Ratson. That's what kind of man Blake Anderson is. thought that was awesome. Bradson was disappointed because he couldn't get off the field and apologized for not limping off the field. So the message is there, and they believe in it. I'll say that. And so even though I know it doesn't look like it on the results that we're getting, we are making progress as a football team. I'm very thankful to the 11,000 that showed up today. I think we have a really strong core group of Lobo football fans. And obviously when you win, that core group grows. It'll get bigger, it'll get better. When it goes back to the UTEP, when people expect us to lose, why are they going to spend their hard-earned money to come out? And I'm okay with that. We've got to prove to them that we're able to compete for championships and have a chance to win every week, and we'll continue down that path. So, disappointing end to the season today, but we're headed in the right direction as hard as that is to see. Go ahead, Brandon.
Coach, last season, you win the last 2 games, and there's momentum in recruiting, momentum at the fan base. When you end the season the way you guys have, what are the biggest challenges you have ahead of yourself?
It's the biggest challenges are in the fan base. There's no doubt. We had a lot of momentum last year. We won those 2 games. People were excited when we came home. Obviously, we had been in Vegas for 6 weeks. So we came home on a 2-game winning streak. And the people around here on the radios and all those things was really cool to listen to because they thought we were on the verge of never losing a game again, which did not change the trajectory of our program. Obviously, the 2 teams we beat at the beginning of the season to have a 4-game winning streak, we were significantly better than, and that speaks volumes about the competition at that point. I don't think Houston Baptist has gone on to win a game, and New Mexico State obviously has struggled like us. And they're in a situation where they don't have a coach that has a contract. So, obviously those 2 teams we were better than and played better than. Wyoming was a game where we played that game assignment free. We played about as good as we can play on defense with the group that we have. And that was what it was going to take every week to almost play perfect to have a chance to win. And then the what if football that I've talked about. Winning today, would it have changed the trajectory of our program? No. It would not have changed. It would have been exciting for the fans around here. They would have been happy and all that. It doesn't change the outcome of where we're going to be in year 3, year 4, and year 5. And the great thing about this place with our athletic director who does an unbelievable job, and there's numerous people around the country who want him to be their athletic director, and we're going to fight our tail off to keep Eddie Nunez here. And President Stokes, they believe in the mission, and they were willing to support a team to win to compete for championships. And so when you have schools firing coaches after 3 years or in their 3rd year, if they want to fire me, that would be insane. But people make those decisions. There's other programs that have done that. We're going to build a championship program here. You have to be willing to bet on yourself. And I know the 4th downs that I went for in the first half. Is it going to change the game? It'll change the game if we can freaking convert it and put it in the end zone. Okay, and that's the belief in building a program and believing in your guys and continuing. It's easy to give in. And I questioned them at halftime whether they were going to give in or not. They didn't give in. So the support of the administration is going to be the key into building this program. And then the community, I know they're as frustrated as all get out, and deservedly so. The history of Lobo football, it tells you basketball season is already here. And I think Coach Pitino's doing a great job. We're going to have a great basketball program too. The trajectory of our program is going in the right direction. And it's my job as the head football coach to evaluate every aspect of this program, from equipment, training, strength, coaches, you name it. And that starts immediately, today. And we'll do what's best for this football program. And that doesn't change.
Is that the same message you had your team after this game? Is that what you're telling moving forward? Is it the same? We're building. I'm just wondering, is it a little different?
So I told the seniors that I'm sorry that it ended the way it ended today. But the 2022 football team starts Monday morning at 9 a.m. So they have a great responsibility over the next 2 days not to do anything dumb, to understand that they should rest a little bit. But we have a team meeting on Monday morning at 9. If there's guys that don't believe in what we're doing, I want them to show their face and just move on. And we'll probably have some guys enter the transfer portal, and that's okay, because I believe that what we ask them to do and what we require is not easy. And for the ones that don't believe in our mission and don't believe in the way we do things around here, they need to find somewhere else. And so we'll see on Monday. We'll have a plan, and we'll start workouts here for the next couple weeks before they go home for about 4 weeks. And then they'll be back on January 18th. And then we're going to start spring ball around February 8th. So we'll have about 13 workouts in the weight room before we get into the spring ball. And then after spring ball, we're going to get in the weight room for about 7 weeks, because one of the biggest things is we're not very strong as a football team and need to get a lot stronger in the weight room, so we need longer periods to be able to do that.
As far as evaluation goes, like finding changes?
I will, like I said, I'll start evaluating the entire program. I mean, I do that on a daily basis, but now that the season's over, I will evaluate every aspect of our program from the top down and decide what changes need to be made in the entire program.
Is there a timeline on that?
Nope.
How you want to do that?
Nope. Nope.
What's the status on Aaron?
Aaron was not able to play today. Aaron will be, he'll be healthy and ready to go for the off season. But I mentioned the 7 true freshmen that started on the punt return team and the 18 true freshmen that we played this year. Those guys have played way too much football to have success. Way too much. When you're playing that many young guys, they're not big enough, they're not strong enough, the game is really, really fast. And so in an effort to continue to build this program, decisions like guys for Aaron Dumas and Luke Wysong are made so that they don't go out there and then we lose them and we can't get better. What else?
Joey Noble, obviously, I've heard you talk about him. You like his potential. I mean, he had a couple sacks. What do you see for him in the future?
Joey has got a chance to get into training camp and has to prove his worth, probably as a stand-up outside linebacker or a rush in, because of his size. I mean, he's tall enough, but he's right around 250 pounds. I think Joey Noble is a first-team All-D lineman in this league. He's top 10 in the country in tackles for loss. He got in the top 10 all-time at New Mexico in tackles for loss with 18.5. And I think the thing that's really special about Joey Noble is the reality of it is Joey Noble did that in about 17 games, the 7 we played last year, or 19 games, the 7 we played last year and the 12 we played this year, because he didn't play a whole lot before that. And so in a shortened season and then a COVID year, his extra season, Joey did some really good things for this football program. And we need to publicize him the best we can, because you need as much positive information, and Joey is positive information. You get top 10, I think he's 6th in the country in tackles for loss. That's pretty good. And I said it in the preseason, I think he's one of the best D linemen in this league. He showed it against Texas A&M, and I think he showed it throughout the season. So I'm really proud of him, and he's going to go and start training and see what he can do for himself.
Coach, this was your first full season in Albuquerque following last year in Vegas. What's this been like with your first full season here playing?
It's been miserable, to be honest with you, because I hate losing. But being able to play here in front of our fans, I think I'm very appreciative of. As hard as it was to go away to Las Vegas, that was okay for our football team. It wasn't good for our community. It wasn't good for some of the mental things, but I thought it was great that we were able to do it in front of our stadium, and we proved that we could do it safe with COVID out there and all that stuff. I'm proud of our athletic department for putting on the games that we did. We got better each week with both crowd control, with concessions, with all those things in a time when it's really hard to find people to work because nobody has to. So I'm really proud of the direction that we've gone as the entire athletic department in regards to the football program. I think the fact that we won't be without restrictions now, we can get in the weight room, I think that's hurt. Having a big 6-month period without being able to lift weights, and then coming back and having to lift weights, spotting each other. We had a semi off season last year, but I'm excited about having the first real true off season without any restrictions on numbers and what we can do. So the first year of being a head coach, obviously in a full capacity here in our stadium, the results are very disappointing. But I have true belief that we're going in the right direction, and we're building on a championship foundation.
Anything else for Coach?
Go ahead.
Can you tell us about Dixon? Just what story that we saw?
So Peyton Dixon is a transfer here. He signed with Fresno State out of high school, and blew up his knee in training camp. And they had a coaching change, and it didn't work out for him. He didn't see the vision the same like some of our guys. He went to UC Davis, decided he wanted to play back in Division I football, and we gave him an opportunity to walk on. He has been eligible the last 2 weeks, and we had to go through some things, and I think Eric Schultz does a phenomenal job in our compliance department to get those things done. And so the last 3 weeks, Peyton's been able to play, and he's a great walk-on. I mean, he had 95 yards rushing today. It shows you some ability. And so our backfield next year, and another one that I'm very proud of is Nate Jones, who has done everything that I've asked to get back in our good graces. And I think we've really helped the young man grow up as a young man and benefited his future. And he will benefit our future because he does things the right way. So if you have Peyton Dixon, you have Bobby Wooden, you have Nate Jones, and then I think Bobby Cole will probably come back, you have a chance to have a really good backfield with some depth, which we obviously got guys hurt. And then you have Aaron Dumas on the list, who Aaron Dumas has a chance. I mean, in the statistical categories within our league, we have the leading rusher for freshmen. We have the top 2 leading tacklers for freshmen. We have the top all-purpose yard per freshman. All those guys are on our football team. They're not big enough, they're not strong enough, and they shouldn't be playing as much as they are, but they're getting those results at this time. So with those guys, with the core of those guys coming back, obviously we need to do better schematically on offense. We need to be better up front on offense, which we will have some younger guys that'll be thrown to the fire next year and will be a little bit more athletic. That's why I have the confidence that we're going the right way.